We're here. We are here.
Going on.
You said what?
Good
What's
evening.
going on?
Okay. How's everyone doing? I feel like I'm having some internet issues tonight. I don't understand what's happening.
Thank God it's not me. Well, normally it's me, and I'm then over here like, please don't.
Yes. Okay, let's welcome to Bounceback Wednesday, you all. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, comment, tag, invite someone in. These conversations we have are serious, deep, and needed. I'm your host, Jamila Hanif.
I am Fatima Hanif,
And
and
we
then
have
DeAnton.
yes. The purpose of the purpose of Bounceback Wednesdays is to raise awareness about adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. You want to share it, Fatima, or you want me to go for it?
No. In 1995, between 1995 and 97, Kaiser and the CDC did a study on 17,800 HMO members that had chronic illnesses. So with that study, they linked that the chronic illnesses was due to childhood trauma. Childhood trauma caused toxic stress. Toxic stress caused chronic illnesses. Chronic illnesses as diabetes, heart disease, stress, stroke, dementia. So the 10 indicators that they came from doing that study was found out is emotional abuse, physical abuse, child neglect, child abuse, sexual abuse, divorce or separation of a parent from a household, any household member with mental illness, or a household member would do substance abuse.
So, and good job. I just want to say good job, girl. Leave me alone. She's getting better.
But this month, we are raising awareness. So this month is raising awareness on child abuse and child neglect.
Yeah, so Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. And so tonight's guest is DeAnton Perkins. DeAnton, before we go into you sharing more with us on who you are, what you do, or, what made you accept the invite to Bounceback Wednesday?
I think it's important for the talk to come from men. I watched your, Bounceback Wednesdays a couple of times, and it's a lot of women, and I feel like it's not enough men out there really being vulnerable and letting young people know that like this does happen to us too. We do have trauma, we do have hurt, pain, and things like that. And it just takes time. One person just to stand up and say, you know what, this happened to me, or I feel this way sometimes. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a lot of young boys out there struggling with things that they don't think the people they look up to struggle with. And so this gives them an opportunity to see somebody. I mean, they may not look up to me, but it gives just that space to say, you know what, this happened to me and I need to address this and I need some help.
Yes. And that's important. It's very important. It's very important to be able to have someone to talk to, someone to lean on, someone who could, that's not judgmental, or just someone that's experienced the same thing. So we want to shout out again to all the viewers. Tequila, we love you. Mama, we love you. We love all our viewers.
And it's very important when you...
Hey, Miss Harris.
And it's very important when you have someone that looks like you.
Absolutely. And I feel like sometimes a lot of men, young boys, they don't know that it's okay to ask for help. That sometimes they think that, or I used to think that asking for help made me look weak, and it's like a macho thing. But when you really realize that weakness or vulnerability is actually your opportunity to become stronger.
So we're gonna dive deeper in there. You ready to have the talk, right? You're ready, right? So, did you take the ACEs questionnaire?
I did take that.
Oh, when was the first time you heard about ACEs?
Man, I heard about ACEs a while ago, like some years back. You had brought it up to me and had me fill it out. And like, yeah, some years ago. It was some years ago. I
Years
found it helpful then, and I find it even more helpful now.
Thank you. It's some serious information. I'm gonna get this information out. Okay, y'all.
And the crazy thing is that I didn't even when you look at the ACEs test, or before you even look at, you don't think you have childhood trauma until you see those questions and you say, man, maybe let me check this because maybe I did deal with something like that before.
Right. I'm about to put the questionnaire in the chat, you all, for anybody who wants to click on the link and you can take the questionnaire. Man, so you took the questionnaire? You recently took the questionnaire. Oh, and everybody viewing right now, can you please be sure to share this? You could just take 1 second. We could wait. You won't miss anything. Just take 1 second to share it because other people really need to hear this information. And it's Child Abuse Prevention Month, and everything we talk about, really just hearing what it is that could have, how could have parents prevented certain situations to happen, So you took the hey. We don't know who you are. We see all the heys, the hey. Can you be sure to a lot of them say Facebook users. You didn't give StreamYard permission to use your name. So just drop your name, where you from. All that is helpful. We love to acknowledge people individually. DeAnton, when you took the ACEs questionnaire recently, what came up for you?
Well, I scored a 5, but one of the ones that came, I don't have it in front of me right now, but one of the ones that came up to me was there a parent missing in the household because of death, trauma, or something like that? And that one stuck out to me most because my biological father wasn't in my life. Like, he never was in my life. And so the only dad that I knew was my dad, Aaron. Everybody know Aaron. That's my dad, right? I mean, I look like him. I buy everything. You wouldn't even think that that's not my biological father, but that is my biological father.
This is something new to me.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, you look just like him. So all these years, yeah, I wouldn't think. But I did question because of the last name. So I'm like, I always question the last name, but I was like, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like, I just don't know. But that is so dope that you look just like him and everything. So
right,
yeah,
absolutely. And like that because sometimes I tried to be just like him. You know what I mean? Like, everything that I did, I wanted to be just like him because that's my dad. Like, that's the only, but something felt different. Like, something just was different. Like, my last name was different. I didn't understand it at the time. My last name. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just whenever you stop. It's just like.
Oh, okay. Now, the first thing was that my last name was different, and so I didn't quite understand what that meant as a child, but I just knew he was my dad. You know what I mean?
Wow. So, how old were you when you found out that he wasn't your dad?
I think I was about, I remember I was in like the 1st or 2nd grade, and I was doing the family tree. And I was like, man, I was writing the family tree down. And then my mom, she told me, she was like, that's not your dad. I was like, what? What you mean? What? Who, what, whatever. And then I just kind of threw it out and never really thought about it again.
Okay. Wow. At school, right? Man, I wonder how many other kids may be, yeah, whatever. Okay.
I mean, the crazy thing about it is that my dad was a dad to so many different kids. You know what I mean? And so it's like, even how many kids are looking for a father? You know what I mean? Like, how many kids are who have parents at home but are looking for a father? You know what I'm saying?
Man, let me tell you, I was mad at my son like 2 weeks ago. His dad had came over, was hanging out with the kids or whatever. And the next day, somebody was saying something. One of the kids was like, Brandon looks just like his dad or something like that. And one of the little kids was like, Brandon, you have a dad? And then him and this other one, they just start laughing and stuff. I'm like, yo, that's not funny. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, she was serious too. Like, you have a dad? Like, yeah, that stuff broke my heart. Just thinking about things that go on in schools and stuff, you know, Father's Day, Mother's Day, and you have these kids, you know, God, yeah, you know, it's just, but.
Okay, go sit down. I'm on the phone. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not able to celebrate because, and then also probably due to death or anything of that sort.
You know, even, you know, I started, you know, like, even like, you know, like, I remember boxing, right? And I remember like how many single moms there were that brought their kids in there to box, you know? And it was almost like having that, my dad, you know, being a dad and being my dad, they almost like came down there just to have that type of, I want to call it affection or interaction with a man. You know what I mean? In that aspect of everything. And it kind of made me feel like, you know, like, dang, like, this is my dad. Like, let me say this first off. My dad was a A1. Love me. I'm his son, right? Point blank, period, right? But internally, on the inside of me, it's like, man, like, where's my dad? You know what I mean?
You're gonna make me cry. Don't do this. I don't want to cry tonight. Like, oh my God.
And then the crazy, see, I don't see, the thing about it is that even that could be trauma in itself, right? Because it's a lot of kids without fathers who had stepfathers in their lives, right? And because they had stepfathers in their life, when they grow up to have kids, they feel like, oh, well, my girl or whoever gonna find somebody else to be the father of my kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's twisted like that. Like, it's crazy, you know?
I don't know. I don't even know where to take this conversation. Like, I don't. Because having a father figure is so important. Because just thinking about mothers, what mothers experience, single mothers experience. We talked about a lot of this. Well, not a lot of it, but enough last week. Just what single mothers have to experience. And I really wonder if they did, you know, the stats on everything, you know, children who are, because like I said, y'all, this is Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month, you know, how many, you know, what are the demographics of the parents that abuse their children and neglect their children? You know, is it mothers? Is it fathers? What are the age group? What is the age range? Like, can somebody figure that out for me, please? Like, I need that data. I really do. Because people stress. People don't have resources. Some people really mean well. Some people probably really not trying to neglect their children. It's just like lack of resources, right?
Lack of resources, working too much. Like, it's a lot of dynamics that go with that at times. It's a lot of dynamics that go with that.
And the struggle with it is that the kid is left alone to deal with their emotions at the same time. So they end up having
to not knowing and understanding what they feeling as well.
Exactly.
So just imagine just sitting in that and not know, you know, you feeling something, but you don't know how to put the words exactly to what you are feeling. That is very depressing.
Yeah, and that's why, really, you know, that's why we have to learn as parents, as adults. Anyone who's interacting with children really need to be trauma informed and also understand feelings. Like, every day, try to learn a new word for a different feeling. You know, people, how you feeling? Good. Like, people resort straight to that. Good. But no, how are you really feeling? How does this situation really make you feel? So it's really labeling it and then giving them the words, you know, to label their emotions. Yeah. So last week,
that's what.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm doing in class right now. I'm doing that in class as far as I have a alarm on my phone, and I have to ask myself, how am I feeling? Like, how am I feeling, and who is feeling it?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do that throughout the day, so I can, figure out what emotions I'm in and understand my emotions and exactly what. So yeah, it's an exercise that I feel like a lot of us should do.
Mm-hmm.
And words play. I love words, right? I love words. So I feel like context is the key to the meaning of a word, right? So when you think about context in like reading literature and stuff like that, you think about who's talking, who's he talking about, what's the subject, all these different things, right? So when a person says good, it's almost like, what is their atmosphere like? What are they going through? I feel gooder than I felt last night when I got in an argument with this person. Or I feel good that I woke up this morning and can come to work. You know what I mean? Like those are all big keys in what people say. And I feel like we don't listen enough. Like we listen to respond. Like even I was talking to Jamila earlier, and it was almost like when kids talk, the first thing I remember growing up was shut up, don't talk. Right. And so never really being able to express what I was feeling, how I felt it, you know what I mean, made me shut down. And so even in my childhood trauma, because, like I was molested when I was younger. So even in that, I didn't know how to tell anybody what was happening to me because I was always told to shut up.
Yeah, hey, listen. Let's Fatima, can you do a disclosure, please? Disclosure.
This disclosure is for the parents that are watching, because I feel like, this is not a personal attack towards them at all. They did the best that they could, and a lot of them did it at a young age. And we are just in a process of trying to heal ourselves and understand ourselves more due to the things that happened, as the parents was present. And it's not a personal attack towards the parents at all.
Parents did the best they could. They're experiencing things themselves, probably told to shut up. Always family secrets, those generations back then. You didn't say anything. So instantly, and a lot of our parents probably parent us with their trauma, more than likely,
Right. More than likely, most definitely.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like environment is context. If you think about environment, your environment is your context, right? And so when you create an environment like me and Fatima were talking about earlier, where you allow a child to come to at an early age, when you allow them to say what they're feeling, how they feel, what this happened, it creates a relationship with them to where they feel more comfortable to come and tell you what's happening outside of that environment that they feel so comfortable in. Mom, when I go there, I don't feel comfortable because this happens. Right? Now you have the power to you've equipped them with the tools needed in order to redirect potential trauma or potential whatever,
So one
and
of the trauma is for go ahead, Fatima. Your little thing. I was
okay.
Take a picture of how you look.
I was just going to say, it was a respect thing too. It was a lot of respect stuff with our parents. You got to do this to show the adult respect. Hugging them when you don't want to hug them, or speaking to them when you don't want to speak to them. And
they didn't know no better.
Yeah,
they did not know any better.
I know.
They really didn't. You got to sit on Santa's lap. Like, what? I don't sit on nobody's lap. They didn't know any better. So this is a prevention of sexual abuse or something like that, y'all. No, your children. Listen,
how is that okay?
Yeah, and it's like, and because it's boundaries. You're teaching your child not to have any boundaries. That's what you're teaching them. That they don't have to say no. They don't, and they learn how to, and they always been told no, it's a trip, and then so they'd be afraid to even share anything. They're probably even ask for anything, so the answer's gonna be no. But they should be able to say no, that they don't want to do something. Like, it's a trip. Brandon, it depends on what it is he said no to. I ain't gonna be, if you don't want to sit on the Santa lab or something like that, then that's good. But what you said though, that time, that's one of the trauma informed practices, relationship building, having that connectionness. So, and that could be with anybody, building that relationship and building trust so that people can come to you and share what it is that they are experiencing without being judged or, worried about if they're going to be rejected or if they're going to be judged. Because build relationships with y'all children, y'all. It's important. It's so important. I want my baby to come talk to me about everything. Like, that's the kind of relationship I have with. Talk to me about it.
And it's like a problem that I had when I was with it was like figuring out who I was, right? And being accepted. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I found in what happened to me, I would feel like that was the only way that I was accepted, right? That was the only way to feel accepted by the people I wanted to be around, right?
So, wait, say it again. So when you be clear.
So like, it was almost like, so what happened to me in daycare, right? So I was at daycare, like when I was touched by girls or physically abused or whatever, right? It happened to me in daycare. So I thought, oh, well, if I let girls do this to me, they're gonna like me, right? So I didn't, and so you hang around big cousins. I got big cousins, right? And so they got girlfriends, they watching videos, they doing all these type of things or whatever. So I'm like, man, you know what? This is what I got to do to be accepted. So if this is what I got to do to be accepted, I'm going to give myself in this way to be accepted because I don't want to not be accepted. So now I've created a trauma-based reaction of fear of not being accepted. So the way I find a way to cope with that trauma or that fear is to give myself at whatever cost to be accepted wherever I want to be.
How old were you? We're just gonna call it what it is, transparent. Okay.
I want to say I was like 5, 6, 7.
5 or 6, 7 years old.
Somewhere in that area.
So look, let me let y'all know this. Everybody, what's up, y'all? What's up to everybody tuning in? Please be sure to like, love, share. This Bounceback Wednesday. Welcome to Bounceback Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, we might switch it up soon. We really do, y'all. It's so much work. It's work. This work. Please be sure to share. Other people, tag other people. The discussions we have on here are important. They could be uncomfortable conversations to some people, even listening in. So if you got to step away from it, if you may be triggered by anything that's being said, please take some time for yourself. Step away until you feel, better to come back. Woo! The ACEs questionnaire. When Kaiser conducted the study, right? The question they asked is if between the ages 0 and 18, have any of these things occurred in your household? That's what they say. In your household. Okay? These things can happen to children outside of the household. They can happen in childcare. They can happen in someone else's home, a family member home. They can happen at school. Like, this stuff can happen. Ask me how I know. This stuff can happen, man. It is crazy. It is so crazy.
And even what you saying, households, right? Like, household goes as far as, it extends as far as the people you trust.
Right. That's good.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
It goes that far, right? If you, just because you knew somebody, well, I'm not gonna say it like that, but you have to know you don't know everything about everybody, right? So the only thing that you know is what your kid tells you. But if you don't allow them to have a voice or give them space, like if you're not sitting down asking them questions, how was your day? What's going on? Well, all these, you're not giving them that space to talk. They won't talk.
I just want to share this also because it's a book, y'all, Bent Not Broken, by Landis Graydon. And he shares also in his book how he was sexually abused, molested. He was molested by his babysitter over and over and over again. Like, I mean, like, people probably wouldn't even think that or expect that. Like, you know, and then for men like yourself to be vulnerable to even share that, you know what I mean? And being at a certain age where you didn't even feel like comfortable with even sharing it, right? Like, how many of us are walking around really hurting with this trauma, tearing us up, with this stuff that we have kept to ourselves? It's really eating us up, y'all. Like, trauma creates toxic stress. Toxic stress creates chronic illnesses. You have people walking around with cancer because they stressed and stuff and probably triggered by something, some kind of trauma. But secrets will tear you up walking around with guilt and shame and stuff like that, right? Would y'all agree?
No, agree. And like I said last week about like grown men, the manhood situation of presenting younger boys to women and, you know, to break their virginity. Oh, that's a part of manhood. It's a lot of men out there that deal with that too. And then just imagine, you know, them holding all that in, and probably why they so promiscuous and all this stuff. But you know, that's a whole nother.
See, and it's
Don't do
I
that.
can't.
Don't do
It
that,
goes
Fatima.
and
Don't
see
do that.
it all ties into being accepted, right? Like we want to be accepted. Like we want to be. Your environment is your context. Right. So it's like, who are you trying to be around? Like, who are you trying to hang with? It's all about, what are you trying to do? Like, most people put people on because, like, say like a young man who's coming into his manhood and it's an older guy trying to put him onto another girl, right? He's doing that in response to what he went through, right? He doesn't want this young man to feel like he did, so he tries to force him to do something to make him not feel like he did, but he's only creating another problem. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like how we talked about last week when we was talking about, like, okay, my parents whooped me and I didn't like getting whooped, so I'm not gonna whoop my kids at all, right? I'm not gonna discipline them at all, right? So it's like going to the total other end of the, and I'm not saying like you don't have to whoop your kids or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
don't beat them kids. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, just be like, I didn't get to play video games, so now you can play all the video games you want. Well, you don't know, you creating something else. You're creating you don't know nothing about.
Yep.
And so then your kids are going to be the same thing about you. Oh, they didn't know no better. That's the crazy part, right? And so it's not until you go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
And so it's not until you address and acknowledge what you went through it's not generational curses, it's generational choices, right? So when you stop and you say, you know what, this is what could have happened. Let me talk. Conversation, words are the most important thing in this world.
Brandon, you can't play that PS5 no more. Get off your phone, all of that. You see how he looking at me. Oh, what I do? Yeah, that it's funny. That's everything you just said was true. Brandon, bye. I'm just playing. Please get out. He's about to cry. Like, what I do? Look. Oh, that's the other thing. Really. Like, let me close my door.
She needs to tell him.
Because everything really is really the I'm just thinking about balance, right? I'm thinking about balance. Rules, you know what I mean? Because, and I'm thinking about now I'm really just going into like addictions and stuff, behaviors that come from too much of something. You know, like you said, with the video games, you know, but it still boils down to how your body feels while you're having these interactions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it boils down to.
And see, even like right now, when you were just talking to him, right, and you said he's all in his feelings or whatever, right? So it's like, and I say this very with humility, right? But it's almost like he has to understand why he feels the way he feels, because the way he feels, why he feels the way he feels in response to what you just said. And I'm not saying this is, I'm saying this very humility and with all due respect. That's what like an addiction is, right?
Yeah, that's what
you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I know, I get what you're saying. And so it's like, why do you feel the way you feel? Why are you upset that the game is being explained to them, right? So now they know why. No, I'm not saying that.
You're breaking up.
Who, me?
Yeah, it's breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
it
was just breaking up.
But it's like they don't understand. It's like, go to your room or don't do what you know what I'm saying? They don't understand. There's no information to go with those feelings. And so they're stuck trying to figure out what these feelings are, right? But go ahead.
So you can see you see I'm like, because I really am listening. I'm listening. I understand what you're saying. So us as parents, right? Just with that situation, because I can assume that he was just, he like, what? I didn't even do anything. Like, what's your problem?
But his feelings is valid.
Right. His feelings, because
absolutely.
Yes. So when parents, so we have to be clear. So when we're giving instructions or anything, we need to be clear. So it needs to not be that, because I said so. Like, that's not fair. That is not fair.
Gray area. that
really?
Gray area.
And being able to explain. Well, I ain't gotta explain nothing to them. I gotta explain nothing to them. Like, what? It is okay.
That's superior attitude.
Yeah, but it's just, y'all. Yeah. So really explaining to our children, taking the time out. I need you to do this, or I'm taking this away because of this. Don't let it be some displaced aggression, or you just mad. Like, you just mad, so now you just taking it out on everybody. Like, let it be some really reasonable stuff, or
And so then when I don't understand why you told me not to do it and I didn't do anything wrong, I'm going to sneak to try to do what you just told me not to do, right? So now I have a reason. So now when you tell me, when you say to me, oh, I told you not to do that, right? Now you have a reason, right? So the reason, now I'm thinking in my head, the only reason why I can't do this is because I did it when, you know what I'm saying, she told me not to do it, right? So if she didn't tell me not to do it, then I can do it. So but when you say, now you've been on it too long. Oh, okay, I've been on it too long, right? I get it. Okay, so now I've been on it too long. All right, I get that, right? So maybe if I play it less, right, she'll allow me to play it more. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's like, I don't know, it's just crazy. Like,
it is. What you gonna say, Fatima?
No, what he said made sense.
It does. Woo, parenting is a tough job, right? And it's like, I was talking to my homegirl Key Johnson today, and we were talking about reparenting ourselves. So going back to I'm sorry, because this is what it was, like the whole thing. So it's child abuse and neglect prevention. Child abuse and neglect prevention month. Okay. So abuse could be, because I wonder, like, are they talking about physical abuse or what? But abuse could be physical, it could be emotional, and it could be sexual. Neglect could be physical neglect, and it could be emotional neglect. Okay. Our topic it's the tonight it is the sexual abuse piece. What kind of advice would you give parents, DeAnton, like to prevent any activities and such that you experienced?
I think just ask the questions. I think just ask them about their day. Like for me, it was, like it was little things that I was doing. Like when I think back, it was like, like I would peak, you know what I mean? Like I would be curious about certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would get caught being curious about those things, but nobody ever questioned why I was doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever asked me, well, why did you do that, or what's going on? It would just, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when I go around the people that I'm always around, right, and I see them doing it, right, that's how I'm learning. It's like I asked this question. If your 8-year-old son walked up to you, or your 8-year-old daughter walked up to you and said, Mom, what is sex? Right? What is a penis? What is a vagina? Or whatever, you know how they say it, right? Would you explain to them what it is?
The first question I'm gonna ask is, where did you hear that from? Like, that's the first question I'm gonna ask.
I heard it from me.
So, I mean, what if they say, I heard it at
another
school?
thing, people need to learn how to have those conversations with those kids. Like, I feel that you need to teach your kids before, because if you don't teach them, they're gonna learn from somewhere else.
Exactly.
Plain and simple as that. So the penis and vagina, they know what that is. Well, my children been knowing what it is since they were younger, because one, they need to be able to identify their body parts. If somebody bothers them or anything, I want you to be able to articulate to me exactly what body part it was that they touched.
Right.
And like, I just feel like we have to learn how to be comfortable with those conversations. You know, everybody's like, oh, well, they're a child. Okay, I get that. But we have internet and everything. They can learn anything outside of these walls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't you want to be the first to have that conversation with them?
Absolutely.
So I'm going back, y'all. I'm just an analytical person. I'm sorry, because I want to hit from every angle. Like, so I'm not saying don't have a conversation, but like when you were saying about how the environment is the context, or, so for me, if my son came up to me, an 8-year-old or whatever, was sex, the first thing I'm going to be curious about is, where did you hear that from? Like, where did you hear that word from? We're going to go there. We're going to go to the root first.
Right.
And we could go, because I want to know what it is. Have you been exposed to? Can you tell me what sex is? Like, 'cause I want to know what my child would know about it. And then, I don't know. That's just how I would start it off, though.
And see, for me, it's more or less like I'm going to speak to the question that they're asking. You know what I mean? It's almost like I'm going to work with the information that they're giving me by the conversation, right? What is sex, right? Well, sex is this, right? And then from that conversation, I'm pretty sure, or I would hope, that whatever else they got from that would, because they feel comfortable now, they feel safe. I'm asking a question to my mom about this, and she responded to my question, right? Mm-hmm. So if she responded to my question and she didn't get mad, she didn't yell at me, she didn't do none of that. Oh, I can tell her something else, right? Mm-hmm. Let me ask her this, right? So now I'm creating an atmosphere of safety. You know what I mean? Like, it's safe to go to mom. It's safe to, see, I'm gonna get stirred up because my mom and dad, my mom and my dad, they worked hard to make sure that we was taken care of. Right. They did, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's almost like, I wanted to talk to my mom. I wanted to talk to my dad. I wanted to do this, but life, you know what I mean? Life happens. But I feel like we have to, like you talked about earlier, balance. We got to prioritize time just for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's just a Saturday, it's just got to be time for them. You know what I mean? To where they just talk. You know what I mean? What you want to do today. It's not just, I'm getting up and I'm taking you here. What would you guys like to do today? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it creates an atmosphere because I'm learning. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go.
But it's like, I wish I would have known these things earlier, right? Like, I wish I would have known these things now, but it's like,
I can't stand her.
But it's like we don't. We. It's almost like when I used to get a whooping, right? I used to get whoopings, right? And after when I would cry, you try to give your mom or dad a hug, and they just tell you to go in a room. Well, to me, that's what love is. Love is that I'm being taught that love is rejection, right? Because there's no compassion for the pain that I'm in right now, right? Yes, I understand I did something wrong, but now because I did something wrong and you're pushing me away, I don't feel like you love me, right? So now I got to stop crying. I got to stop this and then act like nothing ever happened. We never have the conversation about why this happened, why you had to do this, why you had to go through this, why I had to get a whooping. So now you're taught like, oh, well, if this is what love looks like, right, then this is how I'm going to show love. So then you got bullies.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I was a bully. I used to be a bully because
oh my gosh, can you tell?
I remember getting my ass whooped. I remember my auntie also whooping my ass a lot. And I became a bully. Well, I got bullied. So I was getting my ass whooped at home and at my auntie's. Then I remember at school, this girl kicking me in my throat. I swear she kicked me in my throat. So sad.
But you became conflict resolution at school too.
Right, yeah, because let me tell you where I'm at, because it all has to do with where I'm at. This is when you go full circle, like when it's just full, like, okay. So I was whoopings, then I got bullied, then I became a bully. I mean, I was at school. I was at school being a bully. Displaced aggression came with my parents' ass or my auntie ass. So I'm at school trying to whoop some ass, So and, now I take up for people that are bullied. I do not like bullies. I don't like it. And they come in all ages. I don't like bullies.
And see, again, bullying is just a fear of being accepted too. I don't know how to fit in with y'all. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make everybody else uncomfortable like I'm uncomfortable. That's all it is. It's all everything. Like, I ain't finna go into that, but it's like fear. Fear just is everything. Fear is the trigger behind fear. People always talk about, so I'm gonna just say it, right? People always talk about the mark of the beast and all that. It's a chip in your hand, it's all that, right? It's fear. Fear. That is the one motivation behind every single action that you see is fear. Fear of not having, fear of not being accepted, fear of not making it, fear of failing. Everything is fear. When you eliminate fear, you find strength, you find confidence, you find faith, you find all these different things, right? So when my kid fears me, right? When they feel like they don't see, it's a difference between a fear of like, I'm scared you're gonna do this to me, or a fear of, like a fear that, I'm gonna disappoint you. There's all these different types of fear, but you have to, if I'm afraid of something, I want to be able to come to tell you I'm afraid of it. That's it. Fear. You look at any thug, you look at any gangbanger, you look at any, they gonna tell you they not scared, right? But the fact that they telling you they not scared means that they're afraid.
They are scared.
Look, and just like Rachel said, fear is the number one killer. Yeah, when you fear, like really, that's a trauma response. Okay, it's a threat response. That's survival mode. That's what ACE is. That's this. We learn this stuff at a young age. And so when you're always on high alert, when you're always in fear or operating in fear, you're stressing. And when you're stressing, your heart, like you're working your heart a little too hard. But you was bringing up fear.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We could do a little book club. Y'all want to do a book club? I really do want to do a book club, but I got to do it on the Bit Not Broken first, because I like that book. But From Fear to Love, I had got this book, I want to say 6 years ago, when I was exposed to, I had a parent in my child care who wanted me to care for her children. She wanted me to adopt them. And so I was like, dang, like, oh man. She was like, I can't do this right now. And I was like, oh man, she really going through some postpartum depression. And so I had ended up going through a training to become a foster parent. And so you have to go through the trauma informed care. And this is one of the books that they gave. So it say parenting difficult adopted children. Why just got to be adopted children that got problems? Okay. Anyways, but I know they wanted to tailor it to the, because I was becoming a foster parent. But I'm sure this book can relate to a lot of us. It was written by this Black man. He was there too. But yeah, fear, from fear to love. So how do we, how do we, create that shift?
It's like being able to, like, if you look at fear, what is fear? Fear is living in retreat, right? Fear is living backwards, right? You're running away from what's in front of you. That's fear, right?
Fight or flight.
So
fight
look
or
at
fight.
Right. So look at the word devil. Devil is live backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you live in fear, right, you living for the devil, right? And I'm not saying that to preach, right? But I'm saying it because the strength, our strength, look, you're not really strong until you're weak. That's when you find out how you're strong. The moment you think you're strong is the moment you really are weak. You feel? Does that make sense?
When you're weak, you are strong, right?
But I'm saying, like, if I can lift 100 pounds, right? But there's a dumbbell over there that weighs 101 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. Because I can lift 100 pounds, does that make me strong or make me weak? Because I can't lift that 101 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. So now I have to exercise my weakness to get strong. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Don't preach, Pastor Perkins. I see you, Pastor Perkins. I'm telling you, you're gonna be leading Watch Me Grow Ministries. Watch Me Grow Ministries. Hey, let me tell you something. I'm for real, y'all. I'm for real. You're gonna be leading Watch Me Grow Ministries. There's a trauma.
Sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
There's a trauma. No. I'm gonna go real fast. There's a trauma healing group that I'm going through right now to become a facilitator. And you will like it. You will love it, DeAnton. Oh, I tried to get you to go through it. Remember? Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, but go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Nah, but it's like this, right? Let's just say I walk up to you and I got a gun pointed at you, right? Mm-hmm. And that gun, I'm pointing that gun at you. I'm in control of you as long as I got that gun, right? Mm-hmm. But the moment you realize it ain't no bullets in that gun, it's a total different fight, ain't it? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what fear is, right? When you realize that
fear is the unknown.
It's you. Fear is you. You are the person. Right. That other person has no. You are controlling your actions, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's even like when when you think about abuse, right? I can play victim my whole life, right? Mm-hmm. Right. I can be and I don't take this, and I'm not taking lightly anything that's happened to anybody, right? But at some point in my life, I gotta say, I'm not going to allow myself to feel like this anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. The moment when you make that stand, at that moment right there is when you actually become strong, because you've just realized you're being weak.
Right.
Right?
That's why shadow work is important.
Absolutely. Right? And so I think about even me coming on here and saying this, right? It's like a lot of people in my head, right? It's like, people saying, he on there talking about he was abused, or he on there talking about this, right? Well, that's cool. This my fight, right? This gonna help me, right? And just because you don't have the confidence to say this right now, that means that you're weak, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to encourage, and I'm not saying nobody's saying this, but I'm saying I'm encouraging you, right? If there's anything in this world that you fear, you are stronger than it the moment you begin to face it. No matter what happens when you ace it. Come on, somebody, right?
Touch your neighbor.
When you face that fear, the context of your situation changes. The language, when you change the way everything is words, right? If you understand words, if you understand the meaning of words, if you understand the context of words create paths, words create change, people fear words. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're gonna be collecting an offering tonight.
Nah, man.
Where y'all could go donate tonight.
And I'm saying, like, all you have to, for me, it was just having the conversation, right? At some point, kids are becoming sexually active and sexually aware at a much younger age, right? And we don't pay attention. We're not paying attention to them because we're paying attention to so much other stuff that's going on. And they get lost in it. You know what I mean? Because they don't know nothing. Right. They kids. They don't know. Well, they know something if they doing it.
And they so smart.
That's the website where we accepting donations. Donations and offerings. Watch Me Grow Inc.
I want to piggyback on what he said about time with your children and how he said even if it's 10 minutes and 15 minutes and I feel like that is so important. And do something that they want to enjoy, even if it is the video game. Sit there and play the video game for 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever with them and enjoy something that they actually enjoy doing. That you controlling that narrative of what y'all do when y'all spend time with each other. It's okay, something that they like. It's okay to agree upon, you guys agree upon an activity to do together. And then also I want to piggyback on what he was saying about being rejected when he was looking for love. A lot of us deal with our relationships that way. We'll chase a relationship that is rejecting us instead of embracing one that is trying to give us love.
Do you know why that is?
That attention.
Do you understand why that is? Huh? Do you understand why that is?
Because it's exactly what he said. It's a response. Ain't it a trauma response or no?
Because of what we thought love was. How we were treated when we were younger. We thought that this was love. I thought, getting talked to crazy, that's love.
That attention. Right.
So, and you know what's so crazy about that is where this is I don't care what you believe, right? Where do you find pure love?
In yourself.
Who can you go to find pure love?
The Lord. No, okay.
Right? Where can you find look, it's amazing to me how we think that we can love each other, right? That we can produce enough love. See, it's almost like I'm using a book, but the drug dealer and the drug addict, right? It's like if you in your kitchen, right? If you make everything you like in your kitchen, Fatima, you will cook, right? You cook all the food you like just the way that you like it, right? Everything that's in there, you cook it just the way you like it, right? And I come to your door and I say, I'll give you this pizza if you stop cooking everything that you cook in that kitchen and eat my pizza. That's how it is with love, right? We look for other people to satisfy us in what we create. We give them us. We give them us and expect them to take care of us, right? But the moment they don't take care of us, then we mad at them. But we gave them ourselves. Right? So I can share my love with you and you can share your love with me. And if how we share our love together works, right? Because when I share my love with you and you share your love with me, we're relating, right? That's relating, right? Now, if we can do that and move together, now we're in a relationship, right? But if I keep on pouring into you, and I'm not getting nothing back, I'm going to end up losing resources. I'm going to end up finding myself dependent upon you to give me something. And now I become subject to what you want to give me.
Bring us home. I thought you was going,
And that's how it is with our kids.
Right. And that's why it's important. Like now, it's important for them. Like you have to love yourself. You can't love nobody else until you love yourself.
How do you learn how to love? Wait, y'all. Okay, y'all. We need to be real, transparent, and very real. Okay, just be very real. because we are taught to love. I'm saying we are taught to love. There have not been any times anybody on here can say that they have never just loved themselves. Mm-hmm. Have you all found yourselves not loving yourself?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. It's important to learn to love yourself.
What does that look like?
To tell your kids to be proud of. They need not to look for your proudness. They need to be proud of themselves, because your proud is just extra to them. So it's something about teaching them to love on themselves more, so then they won't be out looking for it.
My thing is that comparing, what are we comparing the love to? Like, I'm just saying, like, when we hear love, we need to love ourselves, or you need to love yourself. Like, you have to, what does love look like? That's what I'm saying. So be playing. We got to be playing with people.
So everything that you're searching for, or you should look for in the next person, you need to learn to do it for yourself.
Watch this.
You need to learn to love on yourself more. So then you won't have those attachment issues of looking for that love and getting that rejection from somebody else.
The
Bible
says, watch this. The Bible says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Right? God loves you more than anybody on this planet can love you. And everybody in here right now can attest to that, right? That is the purest form of love. That is the purest form of love you have ever experienced in your life, because you did nothing to deserve it, right? And because of that, right, he knows how to love you, right? So in order for me to know how to love you, I have to love him. Because then his love filters through me. I'm talking about God. Because then his love filters through me. And then if his love filters through me and I love you, you know it's not me loving you, because it feels like his love. So the only way to recognize love is by loving him. And if you don't see his love in that person, then that person don't love you.
But we talking about loving ourselves.
But you don't know.
The divineness is within you. You are a divine being.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
what that love is within you.
You need to breathe. Okay.
No, I got you. I hear you, Fatima. But you don't know how. You can't. You don't know. If you look in the mirror at yourself right now, you have a biased opinion of yourself. If you go look in the mirror right now and you say you're gonna say, "Oh, I this, I look this, I look that," but you're not gonna be honest with yourself, right? You don't know what's inside of you, because if I go to you and tell you you hurt me, right? If I say to you, and I'm just saying you didn't hurt me, but if I say to you, you hurt me, right? That my feeling is valid. You may not think that you hurt me, but because
your feelings are valid.
But me telling you that you hurt me is showing you is telling you that you're showing me something, right, about yourself. Because you hurt me, right? And because you hurt me, you hurt that part of you. That part of you hurts. So you don't truly love yourself because you're hurting me. Are you frozen, or is that a pose?
No, I'm just listening.
See over there taking some deep breaths, silently taking some deep breaths.
That's what see, it is impossible to hurt somebody you love without it hurting you, right? So if I call you a bitch, right, I only recognize that bitch because that bitch is in me, right? If I call you a bitch and you say, nah, I ain't know woo 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 woo, well, the bitch in you just responded because I called your name and it answered. But if I say bitch and you say, excuse me, that's not my name, that's love, because you loved yourself not enough. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish listening.
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just saying, like, because if I don't know how to make it make sense, but if your love is selfish, right? If I just love me, it's selfish, right? But if I can put apart what I want to do, right? Say you hit me and I don't hit you back, that's love.
Because you got self-control. It's all about self. That's what I mean. Like,
what? Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I
is
was
it
yelling.
not
I
about
get. But how? But so if you have self-love, why do people get depressed? Where do you go when you don't? Where do you go when you don't have enough love to fill up your love tank?
When I don't have enough love to, what do you mean? I don't have enough love to fill up my love tank.
Okay, so if you get mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is there love
Then
and
I take
anger?
a moment. Mm-hmm. And then I take a moment to myself. I take a moment to myself and I meditate.
Okay. But what do you're
See, we are going off somewhere else. All I was trying to say was
my
I
bad.
just want to remind people that we are accepting offers and donations. No, but all I was saying was that I think it's the deliverance. Okay, Fatima, you can get mad all you want. I don't care at this point. So all I'm saying is,
trust me, I'm not upset at all.
I'm thinking, I'm just saying, like, we need to like humbly deliver the information. That's all I'm saying. It's like, because me being a parent, I'm not a perfect parent, though I know a lot about parenting. Like, I've been through a lot of trainings about parenting. I'm trying to do all I can to apply what I learned, but I'm not going to deliver in such a way telling parents like, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or they need to do this. They need to, like, I'm not going to deliver in that way, because I know that though I know what I know, I don't always apply what I do know, and I'm better than what I was because I now know what I do know now. But really remembering that I'm not perfect, it takes time. We can always resort to times where we may not be loving ourselves. I hope I'm making sense, because it's just like that. This me, it's just like, what is love? Like, what is love? You know, everybody got different definitions, or if a person feel like they're loving themselves, who tell them that they're not loving themselves? But go ahead, they feel they're loving themselves. But I'm listening.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I think you can never solve a problem on the level it was created.
Rachel, I'll let you come backstage when we go off, because we over time. She's always there after our conversation. I'll see you the link. I will. I'll send it to your phone right now.
You are absolutely right. You do have to love yourself, right? But if you're taught, and not but, I just want to add, if you're taught that love is a certain thing, right? Loving yourself may be different from me loving myself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So it may be different, right? And so if I can't find love apart from me, from anybody else, right, then I won't be able to have relationships. If that makes sense.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So if it's only, self-love is very important, but I feel like self-love comes from knowing who you are and what your triggers are and what bothers you, and knowing that, not saying that you think you're perfect. I'm not directing this at you. I'm saying in general.
Shadow work. I don't think I'm perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes, and I have no problem with talking about my mistakes either. I think that's why I'm on this platform. So
absolutely.
Me myself, I know how to be totally honest with myself.
You get
about everything that has taken place in my life. No, I'm just saying. So when you do your shadow work and you get to know yourself more and be honest with yourself and be truthful,
right,
then you can understand what self-love is and what love actually is.
Absolutely.
What does shadow work look like? What shadow work look like? And I'm only saying this because, like, some things can be vague. People don't know what that is. So that's why I'm saying, like, okay, say.
Google it. Didn't you just say, oh, somebody needs to Google something earlier? Okay, so Google it.
It's like shadow boxing. It's like pretending you in a fight with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You looking at all the things that you don't. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Fatima, but it's like dressing. you addressing all the things that you don't like. You addressing all the things that you don't like about yourself, or all the problems that you see in yourself, and you like correcting yourself.
And accepting it and being able to sit in it and being
Right.
able to want to change and hold yourself accountable for your
Right.
actions.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
all about change and development for yourself. We are able to recreate ourselves so many times through our lives. But it's all with us. We have to want that change.
Yeah. So I'm looking at.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, because we overtime and we just.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
I don't know. No, you're good. You're good. I know we'll be back on next week. Y'all know this is every Wednesday, 7:30. I'm a little heated. Fatima's all fired up and all that.
We gotta clean up on Saturday, so please bring your kids.
Oh, hey,
clean up on Saturday.
Come on, that's why I love her. She has my back. She be thinking.
Come on now.
It's at Emmanuel Temple.
I see you.
You need to say it again.
What's the address?
Yeah.
Can you put the address?
I'm gonna repeat what she just said. So here in Vallejo, if you guys, I'm serious. If y'all, I'm for real. Like if y'all go to the website, if y'all go to watchmegrow.inc.com, you guys can see upcoming events and everything. So this Saturday we are having the community cleanup again. It's youth led. We got Riley and we got the other kids that are that come out. The last cleanup, we had about 70 people show up. It was a great turnout. It was a lot of youth. So I just want to shout out Impact Vallejo Youth. I want to shout out the Watch Me Grow kids that attended. And so this Saturday we will be at the meeting location is at Emmanuel's Temple here in Vallejo. The address is 900 6th Street. We're meeting at 9:00. If you are tuning in and you attended the last cleanup last month, please be sure to wear your orange shirts. This is an opportunity for community service hours. If anybody have any youth that need community service hours, if you're an adult that need community service hours, our organization can provide that for you. So come on out. It's just a way to bring the community together. Also I'll just leave that for now. Next week I'll share about the next event after this event is over. But I want to shout out Fatima again for.
Hold on, one more thing, and then I want to shout out. Thanks to Orlando Graham and the Easter event that we just had on Saturday. It was a success. Thank you for everyone that came and brought your children out. It was such a great time. So shout out to Orlando Graham and his team for that. What's the name of it? Boys and Girls?
Girls Empowerment Group.
Okay.
Boys and
so it was dope. It was really good. It was a nice turnout.
It was heck of kids out there. It was community. Yeah, community came together. It was heck of kids. So yeah.
And that's important that we do things like that. So I hope that everyone is able to come out to this community clean. Bring them children.
No matter, as long as they can walk and they got them pickers, y'all, bring them out. This is gonna be great for them. It really is. Just to see community and other kids their ages and really getting to know each other. It's so important in community, especially here in the city of Vallejo. Okay, we need it. So tune in next Wednesday, but don't forget to check out. Don't forget to go check out the website, y'all, so y'all can see what Watch Me Grow Inc. is doing. It's some serious stuff and ways that you can get involved. Like, man, we always need volunteers and stuff. We need, man, for real. Like, we always need help, volunteers. Come on, please go check out the website. Y'all can even call me personally. But email me, and then I'll respond. If I respond to you, you'll have access to my personal phone. So thanks again for tuning in. Please don't forget to share. Any last things you want to say, Fatima?
No, everybody have a blessed evening.
I didn't like your attitude tonight. DeAnton, you got anything you want to say?
Hey, attitude reflect leadership. Remember that when you're speaking to your kids.
Go ahead. What do you got anything else you want to say?
Check out my podcast. It's on Spotify. The Way to Truth. WEIGHTWAIT. It's on Spotify, iTunes.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah,
yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, he coming
I
back.
didn't know. Why you ain't been said this? I like to ask questions like that. I'm the plug.
Okay.
I will plug you in. You don't know that about me?
Come on, what is it called, DeAnton?
I got you.
What is it called, DeAnton?
The Weight of Truth. WEIGHT /WAIT.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I'm proud of you. I'm not saying I ain't proud of you any other dynamic.
All right, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, everybody tuning in. Thank you again for tuning in to Bounceback Wednesday. We love you all. Please have
Rachel, take your messages.
Please have a great night. Have a great night.
All right.